Hello guys, and welcome to a new Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 10 versus 10 on Veselovo, and I'm going to be playing with the 50-second Sicherungs with the balanced deployment type. I wanted to bring this replay to you guys today for a few reasons. First of all, it's a 10v10 and 10v10s are awesome. Second, we don't get to see this map all that often. Veselovo, pretty cool map with lots of open range engagements, but also a lot of difference in elevation of terrain, which causes interesting line of sight across the entire map. Although today's game is going to be played on the left hand side for me, so that's not necessarily going to be as much the case. Third of all, I wanted to show off this division, the 50-second Sicherungs. It's not one that I get to cover all that often. It's a very interesting division that comes with a lot of infantry and support weapons in Phase A, no armor whatsoever, and then you have to bring in the armor from Phase B onwards. So you kind of play this game of survival in the early game, and then you go on to bring in the heavy guns in the form of Panthers in this case. And yeah, you'll see more reasons as we'll carry on. But let's just have a quick look at what we've got down. So, double MG42 start, Pack 40, a sniper, and a Pack 36. So entirely focusing all of my points onto support weapons, more or less, at the start of the game. And that's because I'm also joined by OAC on this side, who's going to be bringing in some SPW 231s and some infantry. And we have Saw here, who's bringing up a Marder. OAC also has a Stug 4. So we've got a few players on this side, although I think Saw's forces were also elsewhere. Yeah, he's over on this right-hand side as well. So he's not entirely focused on this front. We've got our Lithuanian snipers here, checking out the opponents, trying to provide us some recon. I am going to have to move them forwards eventually. The fighting gets underway as the Panzergrenz engage the Staloki. Pack 36 going to be able to kill the M2A1. They're going to be bringing in a Focke-Wulf at the start to bomb out the Strauki and just help with that engagement, get them cut down nice and quickly. The Focke-Wulf 190s are something that the 50-second Sicherungs can make good use of, so bringing those in early on just to give us a little bit of an advantage. Because Veselovo, it's very interesting on this left-hand side. The way that it works is you have these two sections of light cover, and you basically can sometimes get caught up in a fight between the two. But if one side takes the other's light cover in this section, then it opens up on either side. And what that means is you have to have like long range fire support if you want to get back into the light cover, because otherwise what happens is, for example, my Pack 40 here can just stop any armor approaching the light cover because the recon can't really get close enough without getting spotted. So it becomes very, very difficult. Anyway, another bombing strike there, going to be taken out. Recon unit, Su-85, kills. Oh, it gets killed off by my Pack 40. Stug 4's SPW 231's going to be engaging. Tree line to tree line. And once we clear out the Strauki here, we'll be able to push on through. But the Strauki currently doing a reasonably good job of holding back the Panzergrenz. The 231s, once they move up, and demolish those Strauki, but they had to be careful initially of the Su-85, but the Su-85 is now dead. So we're kind of like playing a puzzle game where we need to take away the correct parts of the enemy forces before we can push up. But now that Su-85 is dead, the 231s have a lot more freedom. That Valentine can also cause issues though, but it needs to get in range. 1,250 meter range, and the Marder completely outranges that, so it's going to be able to get 3 shots off here, and the Stug 4 is also engaging the Su-85 and gets an easy early hit as the enemy recon is now dead, so they can't really see this properly, and OAC is going to be taking advantage of that to find the kill. Now that the Su-85s is dead again, and the Valentine's now dead as well, the 231s are free to attack, move forwards, find the enemy Strauki in the light cover, and we're going to be able to force the enemy out of this position. Enemy mortars have been a little bit of a problem so far. You can see that like the 120mm mortars back here have been hitting this area pretty hard. That's what's been causing my MG42s to die, and also my Pack 40 to, you know, have to fall back quite a lot. I've lost a lot of stuff so far that I brought in from the start. Both of the MG42s and also the sniper that I brought up. I'm going to be bringing up more snipers just to provide more recon on this left-hand side. Yes, OAC has lots of recon vehicles, but recon infantry is particularly more reliable because it can hide in light cover much easier, and has a lot more stealth in general. Anyway, Focke-Wulf 190 coming in for another bombing strike. 250 kilogram bomb going for the Zis 3. Looking to take that out so that the 231s can continue to advance towards these mortars, because we really want to try and take out these mortars if we can. ISU 122 coming in from the side here. Going to be wiping that Stug out in one shot. Those ISU 122s do have 12 damage on their main gun, so they can one-shot any vehicle in the game if they penetrate. Or 231 finding that out. Complete overkill. Anyway, OAC is going to really try and exploit the salient here by pushing up onto the Zis 3 and these mortars with the 233s. This 122 and the M4A1 on the flank here are a bit of a problem for OAC. If these weren't here, then we'd be okay, but this is when the enemies start bringing in a lot of reinforcements. So we got Baba Roya here, we got Proxy, there's also going to be Oliver coming in, we've got Emerald on this side, and yeah, quite a lot of people who are going to be trying to blunt this push. We've only successfully taken one flag, we just take the second flag now further up, pushing us to a 1410 on the map. The closer we get to the enemy spawn, the harder it is for us. Focke-Wulf trying to come in here for another strike. The Zis 3 gets taken out before it can drop its bomb, so no kill for the Focke-Wulf. But all of the 233s are now dead. So what we need to do is set up a defense, because as you can see, there is a lot coming in. There's another ISU 122, there's an M4A 176, and the Valentine's providing lots of lovely leadership. We got the M8s coming over the bridge here. ISU 122 on the right hand side, as well as a jumbo. My Pack 40 is going to be able to deal with the lighter units like the Valentines and the M8s and so on, but will struggle against the jumbo and the ISU 122s at range. I don't think it can even kill the jumbo very well at close range. This Flak 36 very important right now, trying to keep that alive. It is going to come under more mortar fire. Thankfully, one of the mortars did get killed, one of the 120mm mortars, so there is a little less concentration of fire, but you can see there's mortar fire coming in from the right-hand side as well as straight ahead. So now just got to hold the line. Valentine's on their way in. So we are waiting till phase B for my Panthers. We got 2 minutes to wait, and then we can utilize those and the light cover to try and gain an advantage here. Now this was played before the latest patch. The latest patch introduced buffs actually to the Panthers. It reduced the price of the Panther, so they are a bit more cost efficient than they used to be, but they still suffer from the same problems that they had before, in that they are less efficient than medium tanks at close range, and they are less efficient than heavy tanks at long range. So they kind of sit in this weird sort of middle range niche that is kind of difficult to use them in. And in this game, I'm paying full price for them before the buff. So do bear that in mind. But we'll see how we get on. Pack 40 going to be continuing to try and hit the jumbo. Very, very unlikely to penetrate at this range. I think it probably had 0% chance. I probably should have had it on return fire. There's the LA5 coming in there for a strafing run, trying to take that out. And also the A20 Boston now looking for a bombing strike onto the Pack 40, but gets forced off in good time thanks to the Flak 36 and the 20 mils. And this Panzergren here was one of the ones that was further up apparently. Retreated all the way back, but there we go. Jumbo drives forwards, takes out the Pack 40. I do have another one on the way to replace it already. And this is actually quite a good practice. If you have a support weapon that's under pressure, bringing in something to replace it preemptively is a good idea. Because the worst case, you can just like put it somewhere else, right? You say this one didn't die and I brought in a new one. I just move this one further to the left or something, or I put it in this little tree line here. Just somewhere else. Whereas if it does die, I can replace it and have it in the good position that it was in before. What I'm going to do now is basically move it to a position where it's going to have more efficiency at closer range, and not reveal itself so easy. So we're going to have it a little bit further back. Now we just moved into phase B. You can see I was saving the points so I could bring in both of the Aufklärer Panther Ds. The 50-second Sicherungs doesn't have any units in its tank tab until phase C. So you find your tanks actually in the recon tab. And if you're going to play with the 50-second Sicherungs, definitely remember that. Because these Aufklärer Panther Ds are invaluable to your success with this division. They are incredibly important for taking out enemy tanks and vehicles. Because they do require, or they do give you that 2,000 meter range fire support. So we're going to be waiting for them to come to the front line. And in this situation, there is only one unit that I can't penetrate with the Panther reliably, and that is the Jumbos. The Jumbos have 190mm of frontal armor, and at range that's actually very difficult for the Panthers to penetrate. Although the Jumbos will also not penetrate the Panthers, so there is that. But what I can do if I get into position here is we can try and focus down the T-34-85s and the ISU-122s. And taking out those big guns will allow us to be more aggressive on this left side. But it's basically a matter of getting into position in the light cover and slowly but surely breaking down all of these units. It's already been an absolute bloodbath on this left-hand side. This is the beauty of a 10v10 in this situation, is that it can just get absolutely ruthless. And there's plenty more where that came from as this game continues. Pack 40 now under pressure again by mortar fire. Not really much I can do about the mortar fire at the moment. Like maybe late game could bring in an artillery piece, but it's not really worth it. My teammates are bringing in 105s right now, so we'll start to see some counter battery or artillery onto enemy vehicles at some point, which will allow us to engage them while they're stressed. Got now rocket artillery coming in as well. That's going to be taking out my Flak 36. Bit unfortunate, but it was aimed straight at it, so expected nonetheless. Pack 40 now going down to that mortar fire. And I'm going to be trying to creep my Panther Ds forwards so that I can engage their T-34-85s. Now, my Panther Ds in this situation don't have any leadership yet. I do have the Tavadas now coming up, which is the Lithuanian infantry leader. He will provide extra leadership to these Panthers. They're now 2 vet, which is good. Doug 4 did clean up the first T-34-85 that I penetrated, which was really good. And now the Saw going to be coming up with the APCR shot there. Going to cause a crew panic on the T-34-85. So we're going to be looking to try and finish that off potentially, but we're being pushed in hard by Hardson's M2 half-tracks, which are coming in with Strauki. So we're going to try and kill them off. Mortar fire with the smoke a little bit late. Now going to be shifting forwards, fire at the ISU-122. This is only an ISU-122 and not an ISU-122S, so the accuracy on that is only 35%. And if it misses its first shot, it's got like a 3 round per minute rate of fire. So I managed to get a second shot off due to my veterancy very, very quickly. So I've got a third one now on the way. And we've taken out one of the T-34-85s. And we've taken out the ISU-122s. Now you can see how important my sniper was there that was providing recon fire. Or not recon fire, just recon. I had it on return fire is what I was going to say. To make sure that it wasn't firing at enemy forces. But gets hit by stray mortar fire and gets killed off. So that was a little unfortunate. The smoke is a bit worrying, because if there's infantry coming through the smoke, then the Panthers are a little bit under pressure in that situation. But it's time to go as the rockets come in. Always glorious to see this artillery coming in from this perspective. Like you're a Panther and you're just like, oh, we gotta get out of here. And we're going to be engaging the M8s on the right hand side. Mobilwagen has joined the field to provide me with AA. Nice thing about the Mobilwagen is, of course, that it has armor. And a nice kill there from the Panther D. Does kill off the T-34-85 1944 that was already damaged on the left-hand side there. That's why I one-shot it. Yeah, the mobile wagon's really good in this situation because of the mortar fire. So we can just dodge the mortar fire, we can dodge the rockets and stuff with the mobile wagon. It's also got armor, so it's going to be more resilient. So bringing in a second one to join the crew. And I'm going to be bringing in a bunch of infantry, the KM Flak here, which are going to be able to push forwards, advance onto contact, and reveal enemy forces for my Panthers to sneak out of light cover and engage. The PANTHERS here should have been falling back. I unfortunately kind of just left them to their fate. They slowly but surely get killed off by the T-34-85. No idea why I didn't retreat those at the time, because they probably could have got out of there. But alas, here come the KM Flak. My Panthers on the left hand side are going to be microing into position to engage the IS-2 that now is opposing us. IS-2s are exceptionally scary for Panthers because you have to play around this like weird 1,500 to 1,750 meter range. If you get too close, the IS-2's accuracy is too high, and therefore you get hit and you die. And if you engage them at too far away, you can't penetrate them. So you have to be in the sweet spot when you're dealing with IS-2s with Panthers. Otherwise, Panthers are just going to get one try every single time. The other thing you can do, potentially, is engage IS-2s at close range 2v1 and take the trade. So you let the IS-2 kill one of your Panthers, but your Panther reloads faster, so you will get a second shot off onto the IS-2. That's kind of risky because in certain situations your opponent might just be able to like reverse down a hill or reverse into cover, and then you lose line of sight and you take the bad trade, and then he has time to reload and so on and so forth. But alas, Panther here going to be now engaging the Jumbo and the M8 without revealing themselves to the IS-2. The IS-2 is currently engaging the KM Führer as it retreats. I'm going to take out the leader, first of all, the Command M8, just so that the Jumbo is less efficient. And now we're going to be trying to get the penetration here. So this is only like 1,200 meters, but you can see the Panther's still bouncing off the 190 mils of frontal armor. My mobile wagon, a little bit slow there on the movement. I should have moved that instead of letting it get hit by the rockets. Yeah, just waiting for a penetration here. It's probably like 20% at this range. But here go my Flak-Truppen. They're running forwards across the open to try and take back the light cover here. Because the artillery completely forced us out and allowed them to get infantry into the light cover. So we've kind of got to get our infantry into the light cover now before we can push back forwards with the Panthers. And in the meantime, just got to kind of play around the line of sight provided by the light cover on this left-hand side. I do also have to be quite careful though because of rocket fire, particularly with Saw moving up his Pack 43 here. It's a big target for artillery, so I don't really want to be sat next to that. But we're kind of working around the different line of sights that we can find in order to engage different units. So I can move here, for example, to engage the T-34-85. I can also maybe move here to engage the M10. But I'd only want to engage one of them at the same time, so if I move, say, here, then you can see that the line of sight, we can see the M10, but we can't see the T-34, and that would be the same for them. So we'd be able to engage each one by one. So the guy who was playing with the IS-2 did end up dropping from the game, unfortunately. So the IS-2 is going to be a little bit less reliable, but honestly, AI with IS-2s can be scary because in this situation, the best thing for the IS-2s to do is just more or less charge the Panthers. Again, utilizing line of sight here to get the kill onto the T-34-85 did allow the M10 to fire at me, but reversed in the right direction quick enough, so that was okay. Jumbo now coming forwards as well. Jumbo's just such a good distraction. So and also one thing, actually a really good tip, when there are two enemy tanks facing you, your tank will always fire automatically at the one with the highest armor. So like Martin moving up his Jumbo here is like annoying for me because I have to manually then target the M10, and that can lead to micro mistakes because if the M10 reverses and I've still got an attack, like a right click attack order on the M10, my Panther will chase. Whereas usually I would use attack move orders to like move forwards but not too much. So making sure I'm manually targeting there, the M10, but then also making sure that I'm reversing when I'm getting too far forwards is super important. So now the IS-2 is coming closer, and the reason that the IS-2 charging me is a really good idea is because if it gets close enough, then the accuracy against the Panthers is really high, and then the shot will land on target, and IS-2s pretty much have 100% penetration against Panther, especially at this range. And what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be bringing in a couple Focke-Wulfs. Now, I was playing this while I was streaming. The reason I bring in the Focke-Wulfs here was to kind of almost prove a point that it was AA. My chat at the time was saying, oh, bring in the Focke-Wulfs, you know, pin down the IS-2 and engage it with the Panther afterwards. So I set up the play, we bring in the Focke-Wulfs. The Focke-Wulfs don't make it through, I try and engage with the Panther afterwards, and the IS-2 gets the kill. And this is where the range comes in handy. So this is a very good demonstration of why the IS-2 in this situation is very strong. And also, you know, the idea that, yeah, I have those Focke-Wulfs on standby. The reason I'm not using them in this situation is because I knew that my opponent had probably brought up AA at this point. It would be very silly not to. As particularly since they now have the light cover to make sure that they don't get killed in this situation. And the Pak-43 is the solution here to the IS-2, because the IS-2 can't one-shot the Pak-43. Whereas the Pak-43 can get easily 2 shots off before the IS-2 can fire back. So there's the first shot, and then the second shot. Job done. So now the IS-2's out the way, the Aufklärer Panther Ds are free to push forwards. There isn't really much that can contest them. Even the jumbo here wouldn't be much of a problem, but then I get off map, so I'm going to fall back. Originally it looked like the off map was placed further forwards, but apparently it was placed like more like this. So it didn't really matter which way I went in the end, and one of my Panthers do get taken out because it had been penetrated previously. Both my Moorwurgens are still alive, my Aufklärer Panther D is still okay. My Landesschützen, oh sorry, not Landesschützen, I mean Lycus has Landesschützen, but I've got Flak-Truppen. Flak-Truppen going to be pushing back forwards once again. The classic advance under contact. Now I'm going to be bringing in a bunch more Panthers. Admittedly, these Panthers should have already been on the way. You can see that I was floating quite a bit of points, and we've been in phase C for quite a while. So, onwards we go. So, 222 and the Jagdpanzer of OAC making good moves here. Pushing into the light cover. The 222 perfect for taking out these infantry at range, and then the Jagdpanzers actually pretty strong at taking on any medium tanks that were left over after we took out the majority of the rest of the forces. Just check out this artillery though. You would not want to be the infantry in this scenario. It is not fun. These ones actually managed to dodge it completely. These ones ended up taking the rockets to the face. So my Panther D moving up on the left flank here. We're going to have the Panther A's ready to charge forwards. And it's more or less a matter of overwhelming the ISU-122, trying to take that out. And then we can focus down the rest of the armor that is here. Valentine there, not going to have any penetration chance against the Jagdpanzer, neither of the Jumbos. 130 mils of frontal armor on a Jagdpanzer is really, really nice. But check out the carnage, guys. The beauty of a 10v10. Both sides have tanks all over the place. Yeah, the Panther now trying to squeeze forwards, get shots on target, trying to take out the WC-52 Dushka there, that's fine. But here come the Panthers. So spreading them out into a line formation. If you want to know how to do a line formation, basically what you do is you hold right click and then you drag. And if you all of your units selected will go into a formation for you based on how far you move your mouse. So here we go. The Panther push coming through. Glorious. So I've got to try and get a kill onto this ISU. Now, in my deck I had, I think, 4 Panthers with 1 vet, so you can see my Panthers actually 3 vet now, which is super scary because it makes them really accurate. Panther D on the left takes out the T-34-85. I take out another Comrati. Further to the right, IL-2 is coming in for the rocket strike onto the Panther D, but my double mobile wagon has us covered. The ISU-122 is pinned down, so we're going to be trying to take that out in good time. Take out one of them. Second one under fire. See, I've lined them up so that they all engage at the same time. The second one here is going to go down as well. And now they have pretty much nothing left that can stop my Panthers. So I'm able to get really aggressive, really close onto these jumbos. And therefore I'll have penetration to kill them. We'll still be bouncing quite a lot, but yeah. Unfortunately, this Panther going to be going down. I think he got hit by an artillery piece or something. There we go, Jumbo's taken care of. Now the only real problem is this ISU-122 on the right hand side, but that's going to get hit by rocket arty there. And now there is an 85 standing in our way. But yeah. Beautiful teamwork. Does allow us to push on through, break down our opponents, and the Panthers doing very, very well for me in this game. Leaving utter carnage on the field. This poor 85 is pinned down and taken out. There we go. Just destroying anything and everything. Another Valentine on its way. Valentine's obviously not the best solution in this sort of range engagement. If the Valentines could get up to the light cover, then they could be pretty good, because at close range they have super high rate of fire and nice accuracy, so they can actually take on tanks that are much bigger than them pretty well. Rocket fire coming in once again is going to unfortunately take out one of my trucks, but most of the flak weapon survive. Well, now 1 minute 30 seconds left until victory. Now this map is extremely volatile for 10v10, and this game probably proves that quite substantially. There's always like places where there's just utter destruction constantly. Look at it. Everywhere you look, there's just piles of dead tanks that are trying to engage in the open ranges. On this right hand side, Grim Guy did a great job of pushing through here with Spicy by the looks of things. Yeah, the Panthers fell back after that rocket strike, and now we're pushing back forwards again with another of my Avtala Panther Ds. Got all of my Lithuanian troops now joining the fray with the KM Flagtruppen and the Panther A's and the Panther D's, but that's going to be a victory. And yeah, a real fun game with the Panthers. 28 minutes, 34 seconds. In the end, 1,785 kills to 925 losses. Shotkid did amazingly well in this game. 3,200 kills in less than 30 minutes. That's pretty incredible. Avkala Panther D doing a good job though. Double ISU 122 kills. Took out the T-34-85 there. Took out an M10. Really good kill lists. And the Panther A's that came in later on, just demolishing the remaining forces. So the 85mm, the Jumbo, T-34-85 here. These two Avkala Panther Ds did kill T-34-85 1944s. Technically doesn't pay themselves off, especially considering this was played on the previous patch, so they were more expensive. But yeah, there you have it. The mortars definitely causing a lot of problems early on, and you can see the artillery was the main problem for us throughout. And that is a lot of the solution to heavier tanks in these sort of situations. If you don't have heavy tanks yourselves, then artillery is always the solution to bigger tanks. But there you have it. A fun game, showing off the Panthers, and a good way to use them. That's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.